What is up, guys? Welcome back to round number 9, I believe, of this modded career mode. I put out on Twitter, I think last time when the France Grand Prix came out, this race also suffered with screen freeze at the end of the race. So unfortunately there's no broadcast shots in this one as well. I haven't recorded Silverstone yet at this point, so hopefully it's going to be fine by that point. But I'm going to dive straight in to this Grand Prix weekend. You can see another issue with the cooling system, so that's, I think, twice in the last few races we've had an issue at the beginning of practice, which isn't ideal by any stretch of the imagination. So there seems to be a problem with this car in terms of development as well as consistency, just with little issues like this, which is causing us a little bit of issue, not just during the races but also through practice and qualifying, etc. and stuff like that. It screwed us over in Canada, which was a little bit frustrating as we wasn't able to actually make it through to the qualifiers session. But we're going to do what we can here in Austria. We've got brand new everything on the car. As you can see, we're going extremely wide there on the X to get a time through, and even throughout practice we had some really good pace throughout. But we make it into Q2, came P4 in that session. So first lap of Q2, straight near the top. P2 doesn't finish that way, unfortunately, but it is a difficult difficult session to get through and stuff like that. You can see we put our first lap time in P1 currently, so we're absolutely an amazing bit. So we're rushing to get back into the pit lane. You can see we go a little bit wide across the grass, and I'm managing to get it slowed down just in time so we don't actually have to get a penalty for the race Grand Prix. So this one was a bit of a mixed bag really, because all we could really do was just go flat out. You can see we've been knocked off the spot at the moment. We've got a invalidated lap because obviously we cut the corner. But the issue we have at the moment is this car is in a really good window, but for whatever reason, like in France, the car just can't keep up with any of the cars that are ahead of us. That we're a little bit faster than Renault over a lap's pace, so we ain't got to worry about them. When we do actually battle the Red Bulls and the Ferraris, we haven't actually really battled the Mercedes that much, but apart from last race, we just tend to struggle with consistency, whether that's in the tyres or just how we've had the car set up. It seems to struggle a lot. In qualifying it's fine, but when it comes to the race, the consistency just isn't there. Whether that, again, that's a car error, my error, or anything like that, is a bit difficult to do. So we're going to come across the line for our second lap. You can see it's still P2, and across the line it's not really improved by much, to say the least, but we do what we can. And you can see we're actually down at this part of the lap, so we're going to have to come in again, put on our last set of boots, and actually end up making it to see if we can improve, because it's quite difficult. Gasly set a fantastic time. You can see we're going to get a little bit of a toe here off the Mercedes coming into the last corner. A nice little toe down the back straight, to say the least. We're right up to the gearbox of the Mercedes, DRS wide open, and can we improve to get pole position for this race? No. So I don't know how Gasly set that lap time. We improved both times, and we came nowhere near Gasly. So somehow Gasly set an absolute stonker of a lap time. So fair play to Pierre there, starting on pole position with ourselves alongside. Followed then by Valtteri Bottas, Charles Leclerc. Just behind him, Vettel and Verstappen. Both Renaults making it into the top 10, which is nice to see. Carlos Sainz and Sergio Perez. A little bit further down, Lewis Hamilton in 13th with a penalty. So he's going to have to fight back a little bit, try and get some position here. Toro Rossos have dropped to the back of the grid. They're the second slowest car. Obviously, apart from the Williams, Kubica actually out qualifying Russell at this point, so it's not looking good for Toro Rosso at the point. But we're going to have a look at our race strategy. You can see super soft to soft compound tyre, relatively straightforward, but there's nothing else we can do about that. Sebastian Vettel, a little bit down the order than he was, getting pole position and winning the races at the early stage of the season. He's kind of dropped back just a little bit. There is ourselves, just behind Pierre Gasly. So Pierre Gasly is going to look to convert this. Red Bull have been on an absolute mental capacity at this point in time. They're doing so well since Canada, kind of their standout race, and they've just kind of gone from there really. They're absolutely killing it at this point in time. But we're going to pull up to our grid spot as we're going to wait for everybody else to make it up to the back of the grid, and we're going to try and send this up the inside of Pierre Gasly if possible, and I'm going to have to see what we can do. Sticking with the B-Win sponsor for this European leg of the season will change as we get to Asia, Americas and so on and so forth. Waiting for the 5 lights to go on as we put our foot down and just about not getting sideways, which is exactly what we don't need. You see we've got Bottas on the left hand side, and screen freezes akimbo as we come into turn 1, so that's obviously always a great start. Managed to hold off a challenge from Bottas, but he's going to push us all the way up the hill. We are on the super soft tyre to mention. I don't think I actually mentioned that in the qualifying part, but yeah, so managed to hold off the charge from Valtteri Bottas on super soft, so we're going to be a little bit slower than we probably should be at this point, but he's going to be hunting us down for the race. You just know that's what Bottas is about, and if Bottas doesn't challenge us, at least even in the slightest bit, it's going to be difficult for us to hold on to this. But we've now got the Ferrari right behind us, and if it's anything like last race, we're going to struggle to try and defend this. But Bottas actually gets back past as he really compromised, I believe, Leclerc, just damaging his race so far, holding everyone up. You can see Bottas trying to go around us, and we're like a little cork in the bottle while Gasly just flies off the road. The gap's quite big by this point. We've got another Ferrari attacking us. I believe again that is Charles Leclerc. We're not going to try and fight too hard. We're going to hold the inside line, but he just flies around us. There's no point fighting that position. We're not going to catch him in a straight line, and we're on a completely different strategy to him, and so we'll let Leclerc go, and if Vettel comes up near us, then we'll probably end up doing the same to him. A little bit further on, we can see we're coming into nearly the start of lap 7 now. We're going to jump the curb just a little bit, get a little bit sideways. It's going to compromise us incredibly bad. There goes Sebastian. Bottas is on our inside. We'll go down the start-finish straight, getting Vettel's slipstream. We'll have to hold it around the outside of Bottas if we can. Get a little bit slidey on the exit. DRS will have to go wide open again. Vettel's gone. He's absolutely checked out at this point. Bottas has gotten past us. We're going to have to dive down his inside here at the hairpin, and we just get murdered. Absolutely murdered by Verstappen. So you'll be able to see here from the replay. Battle with Bottas and Verstappen, it was a bit tight. There wasn't really much place for us to go, and that's our race over. So unfortunately that was it for us, and straight away it ended up crashing. So the final results, Gasly and Verstappen actually got a 1-2, followed ahead of Vettel, Leclerc, and then Bottas. So awful. This is a nightmare really. But well, that's been it for me, guys. Hopefully next time will be better. It's getting a bit of a joke really. Take care. Bye bye.